But I think, as Mish said, I totally agree. I think people will see that institutions and individuals' adoption of crypto is unstoppable, right? It's an unstoppable trend. So that's why we're seeing that different, including banking circle, right? Sort of so-called traditional financial services players are more and more entering this space and service the players. We'll see that definitely happening because players will just see more and more customers asking for it. There's demand and more assets or money moving into that direction. Ultimately, it's unstoppable trends that everyone is aware of, and it's also an unstoppable trend that like more and more traditional financial services banks, that's my view, will enter into the space.
Ubri is a university partner program. We collaborate with universities around the world on research and development in blockchain and cryptocurrency. The exciting part about Ubri Connect is that it's a multidiscipline study of blockchain. You've got the lawyers, law schools, the business schools, the engineering schools, even the humanities tackling this technology holistically. We're all in person, and we're so excited to be together.
I'm very impressed at the scope of the blockchain technology that Ubri membership is developing. It's a global perspective. It's about democratizing the landscape, shifting from the power of a few to the power of many.
Ubri is all about collaboration, which is the center of good research. Ubri brings together different voices and becomes a very important source of cross-pollination between the industry and academics.
The academic community has proven time and time again to be at the forefront of helping new technologies get mass adoption. I see academia as being able to accelerate the pace at which this new technology can really have an impact on the world.
We have done quite a lot thanks to Ubri support. We have supported 22 research grant proposals, and we fund them with several millions.
To be connected to other academics and also to people from the industry. I will be able to collaborate with more scientific researchers in the space.
I'm here because we have a startup that's coming out of the research that we do at the University of Cape Town. For me to do my master's, I actually got a bursary, which has allowed me to learn more about blockchain technology. From that, I got the opportunity to become part of the first XRP campus ambassadors. So I passed on the torch to teach other students across the African continent about blockchain and what they can do in their own countries. At the heart of it is about empathy. How can you solve problems for other people? What are we driving for?
The powers that be present their truth in boring, unpromoted presentations that hardly get viewed, and on the other, pay billions upon billions to promote flashy, fake decoy news on a mass scale to herd populations accordingly, ruining individuals' chance to grasp concepts that could empower them to be financially independent or less dependent on their government. This is what people mean when they say elites own the media. And here's a glaring example, one that should help you understand why there's so many conspiracy theories out there. Bill Gates. Hear me out. After getting this far into the video, we know for a fact that blockchain will be needed to achieve the SDGs for 2030 agenda. And we also know for a fact that Bill Gates is an SDGs promoter and donor. This would suggest Gates knows all about crypto, right? I mean, before the SDGs even came into effect, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was exploring the opportunities of digitizing payments, was a member of the Better Than Cash Alliance, which explores blockchain technology, and Bill Gates himself even put out a video talking all about the benefits of mobile money and digital banking all the way back in 2015.
By 2030, mobile banking will be so freely available that an additional 2 billion people will use these services, that almost everyone will have a mobile money bank account.
So this guy's foundation has been researching mobile money and digital banking for almost a decade, and the agenda he represents requires blockchain to be achieved? Doesn't this mean Gates is undeniably aware of the promise of blockchain? It must, right? So why then does he publicly claim it's a sham on CNBC and CNN? Why does he tell Forbes he doesn't own any? Why does he say the opposite of the truth to hundreds of millions of people? Because, and I'm just thinking out loud here, Gates is a gatekeeper and is playing his role in gatekeeping positive public sentiment of this asset class, in this case, delaying and taming public bullishness, while his friends are still getting their ducks in a row. This technology is, after all, decentralized, meaning it's out there in the open to freely buy. So as a hypothetical global market-making gatekeeper, he'd probably rather withhold true bullish information until prices are much higher so the public can feel good about buying then, and his shot-caller friends can be more comfortably positioned. He would not waste that opportunity. This is the reason many people don't trust Bill Gates, because it seems like he's always on mainstream media blatantly misdirecting people without a care in the world. And this is also why so many conspiracy theories are generated, because if the powers that be are provably not giving us the whole story about the future, it forces us to search elsewhere for truth through pattern and connection finding. Either way, Due to his wealth, influence, connections, and people's increasingly short-term memories, Gates will likely continue getting away with it. But remember this video when you see him publicly bash crypto in the future, because we know the agenda he fights for, and we know it requires blockchain technology. By the way, Gates isn't the only one who does this. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of two-faced media.
One thing you commented on that I think is worth spending 1 second on, the judge, so there's some notes associated with for the crypto industry, a very well-known speech that Bill Hinman gave in June of 2018. And in this speech, he said that ETH had, I'm paraphrasing, but ETH perhaps had been a security, but it transitioned to not be a security because of its decentralization. And that's not actually what the law says. What the law says, there's no mention in the Howey test about decentralization, but that speech was really, really important. And the judge now, over the last 18 months, has ordered the SEC to turn over the notes associated with that speech 6 times. So the recent discovery ruling that went our way is just the 6th time. And the only reason I mention that is because the SEC obviously celebrates disclosure. It celebrates transparency. Like, why can't we do the work as the SEC and as a federal government to actually define and provide clear rules of the road? And if we had those, I think everyone would actually, the industry in the US could thrive, much more easily than what we're dealing with now.
Hey guys, today I've decided to present you guys with nothing but facts about what's currently happening within the crypto world. So it's time to listen up and listen good, because today I promise you will learn something. The elites have always had a tight grip on the government and its officials. With the amount of money these guys have, I'm betting they also control policy making in any country. They can buy their way through almost anything, including taxes, which has been a heated debate. For some reason, the super wealthy get taxed the least than people who go into a white-collar job. And that's frustrating. Now, aside from controlling policy making, they also have their claws in mainstream media. That's right, but before we get down to business, let's roll that intro. As always, welcome to Moneyside, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, that way you get updates when we drop new videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, and remember you can always leave a comment or question in the section below. Now listen to this.
I'm going to prove to you in this video why, even if you hate the company Ripple, and even if you despise the digital asset XRP, you better be praying that the SEC fails in what it is attempting to do. Now notice that I didn't say that you should root for Ripple. I didn't say that you should root for XRP. I phrased it that you better hope that the SEC falls flat on its face in what it is attempting to do, in this case, SEC versus XRP. On December 22nd, 2020, the SEC filed its complaint against Ripple. And I sat down and I read it on Christmas Eve, December 24th. And after I read that complaint and read how broad it was and how it could be applied to every crypto asset, I began writing the writ of mandamus, which I filed 6 days after the SEC's complaint on January 1st, 2021, asking the SEC to only limit their claims against Ripple and the way Ripple sells XRP. And that's why I said the biggest misconception out there is that the SEC is only claiming that the way Ripple sells XRP, that it's a security. And that is simply not true. Because after my writ of mandamus, where I was saying, listen, you should only be going after Ripple and the way Ripple sells it, the SEC filed its first amended complaint on February 19th, 2021. It is document 46 that is filed in the Southern District, New York case docket. And let's review what the SEC says, not what John Deaton says, but let's review what the SEC says and why this is the most dangerous SEC enforcement action that I've personally ever read. But before we do that, for all the people out there who are against Ripple or against XRP, the Bitcoin maximalists out there or the Ethereum maximalists, I want to refer you to a 2015 video by Joseph Grunfest, a former SEC commissioner, and listen to what he said about Bitcoin in 2015 and whether or not the SEC believed Bitcoin was a security in and of itself. Take a listen.
We know that if you have a partnership and the partnership buys Bitcoin, then that partnership can be exactly like a partnership that buys a horse. And in that situation, your interest in the partnership that owns the Bitcoin, that's a security. That's not complicated at all. But the more interesting question that the courts and the SEC haven't yet looked at is the challenge of whether the Bitcoin itself is a security. And there, the answer, I think, is a resounding sometimes.
Even though these are viewpoints back in 2015, the SEC for some reason still believes the same thing. However, what beats logic is why they haven't gone for Bitcoin. There's a lot about how the SEC operates that seems biased, and undoubtedly, there's a lot riding on this case, despite your stand on Ripple and XRP. All in all, despite the current case, Ripple continues to flourish, and the whole financial world is moving towards the crypto world. With time, expect Ripple to be at the center of innovation in the coming years, if it's not already there now. In addition to that, the SEC likely went for Ripple because they underestimated its size, and the only reason why they're not pursuing Ethereum is because this crypto is too large. A tweet by CoinDesk said, "Has the Ethereum blockchain become too decentralized for some to use? Reports show 60% of validators are managed by only 4 companies, following the shift to proof of stake." And that's the truth. Ethereum is becoming too big for some companies, and probably too big for regulations. So despite what you think about Ethereum and possibly Bitcoin, there's a high chance that these cryptos won't be pursued by the SEC. All in all, Ripple is growing each and every day. Soon, Ripple will be too big for the SEC and they will be pushed to settle. Now, why do I say that? Well, take a look at this tweet. Ripple is testing a way for developers to deploy smart contracts made for the larger and more popular Ethereum on its XRP ledger blockchain with little effort. Crypto Margo reports, $XRP. Did you hear that? Now, I don't know about you, but that's the right company to invest all your money in. Step by step, this company is positioning itself at the center of the next phase in finance. So what do you think? Is XRP worth investing in? Share your comments and thoughts in the section below. As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can always let us know what you think in the comment section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.